So these questions are some of the questions that I normally ask new people, and part of the reason is because it leads into understanding their learning styles, which is what we're going to be looking at for the rest of the week. What subjects did you enjoy in school? Elementary, high school, college, depending on what you've had. What subjects did you like? So I'll answer first, so that gives you time to think. And so actually I was a horrible student, which is probably why I'm a teacher now. And my favorite things ended up being art. Anything to do with hands-on or drawing, painting. I really, really enjoyed running, PE type things, though I wouldn't say I was very good at the team sports. I was more individual. And let's see, I actually had a real desire for writing, but I was completely shut down by my teacher. And I had a teacher in 8th grade that convinced me that I was really good at algebra. And then I had another teacher who made me feel like I wasn't. So, interesting. So, yeah, I liked history. History was interesting to me. All right, the second question there is I am in the wrong place. What extracurricular activities did you enjoy in the past and now in the present? Or both? You can still like them. So I grew up in Hawaii, so going to the beach, body surfing, boogie boarding, climbing, hiking, totally loved stuff outside. But I also enjoyed dance. I put on my dad's Neil Diamond records and dance for hours. It's hilarious. So I was a dancer for a while. And so obviously I like to move my body. And then also I liked creating things, so building things. At one point one of my aunts gave me a stuffed animal, and then I figured out how to make it, and so we started making, my sisters and I and my cousins started making it, and then I got another stuffed animal that was 3-dimensional, and I learned how to do that and would create these things. So it was just kind of this funny thing that just like creating things. And obviously that also was into drawing. My grandmother taught me how to draw, so I would draw. And let's see, in high school I ended up picking up photography, so I did a lot of photography. And I tried music at that time, but I was horrible. So later on, when I was actually a teacher, somebody taught me guitar, and I picked it up really quickly, and I started playing and YWAM got thrust into lead worship, and I was like, no, I'm just learning. So, pretty funny story. And then, now I live in a place with snow, so I cross-country ski and snowshoe in the winter, which is really fun. And then come visit. And kayak in the summer, hike, backpack. So I still do those types of things less than I have because of my health. Can't do it as much. Have done a lot more music. Started learning the piano last year. So that's been really fun, which I was able to go and worship. It was awesome yesterday. I went up to the prayer room and had a great worship time with the Lord. And then reading. Actually love one-on-ones with friends, You know, they have coffee and I'll have tea. Because I can't drink coffee, but anyway. So that's also, which is you'll see later on as part of some of the things that we look at. So actually, this is the reason I'm asking you this question, and the reason I pushed it to this time was because it shows your learning styles. And we're going to talk more in depth about that tomorrow because we're running out of time. And so it's kind of the precursor to going into learning styles. So, and just kind of a high level, there's visual and there's auditory and there's kind of a logical thing in there I'm hearing, and kinesthetic, very big, kinesthetic. So all those things you're touching on, and actually even, you know, I do that and I don't even realize I do it, but I think it's like something in my brain does it. So anyway. Before we leave today, I'm just going to give you the evaluation form that we're going to be using for this week. It's a little different from what I've heard what you've had. This is what I developed in our BTPS after quite a bit of working on it. And sometimes it will adjust what you're doing. And I think that's actually important. So it's kind of like, we're having a test. Would you like to know what's on the test? So this is what's on the test. So you're the speaker, and then you're going to put the outline. Outline, I told you, is what you're going to be handing in, and that's 5 points. And then the topic, which is 5 points, which is just, is an appropriate topic, was an appropriate topic for us. So then the opening, so that's 10 points. Did it gain attention and interest? Did it introduce the topic clearly? Did it engage the class? All right. Organization, 15 points. Main points are clear and illustrated. Used time wisely. Sequential presentation of concepts. So, like, did it make sense, the order that you did your main points? Effective transitions. Write those transitions. All right. And then closing is 10 points. So did you reinforce the central idea? Did you end with something to think about? Did you encourage application? All right. Content, 15 points. Now, some of this is not going to be pertaining to you because you are not going to have biblical things. So just know that you're not going to get graded because it wasn't biblical if you didn't do something biblical. Biblically sound. It's going to make coffee. It's got to be biblically sound. There you go. Ah, ha, ha, ha. I know that joke. All right. Presented multiple viewpoints, if you have to. Necessary background presented. Notice necessary. Doesn't have to have all background. Led students to practical application, if that's applicable there, and quality questions and problems raised. So get us engaged. I'm always engaging you. You get us engaged too, all right, as the audience. Communication, 10 points. So that is inclusive eye contact. So that means, looking at everyone. Don't just look at one person. Sometimes we get comfortable looking at one person, but we really need to be looking at all people, everybody. Clarity of voice. Presented illustrations well. Good use of nonverbal communication. Enthusiasm for the topic. Language was clear, concise, and appropriate. Any questions so far? Is this clear? Okay. Illustrations, 10 points that you used a variety. Workshops achieved their purpose if you have one, and effective and appropriate illustrations. One thing that I said to have in here is that you're going to have learning styles. So I want you to incorporate the learning styles. So that would be something that would be a part of this one, that you have at least 2 learning styles. And then interaction with audience, 20 points. Interaction, humble and approachable. Encourage students to express themselves. Responded well to questions. And nonviolent. What in the world? What does that mean? Well, that is actually, have you heard of Henry Nouwen? Yeah. You've heard of Henry Nouwen? He's a Catholic brother who passed away by now. He has a really lovely, in fact, you ever have many books, lots on spiritual direction and formation. He was asked to go to the Crystal Palace. He did a YouTube video. It's a YouTube video called The Beloved, The Beloved. And he's talking about how we are the beloved of God, and it is so impactful. But anyway, he wrote a book called Creative Ministry, and he talked, and I was going to bring it up next week, but because it's here, I'm just going to say, he just said that the way that we set up the classroom, like this, it would be considered a nonviolent way, because it's not just the teacher with the authority, but it's like we learn from each other, which I've already mentioned. I've already brought that up. So it's also how you bring your information and how you draw us out as well, where you are the authority, but you're willing to hear us as well and what we bring into it.